Hello there and welcome to another custom showcase here on the Star Wars Showcase YouTube channel. This time around we're taking a look at a custom Black Series Captain Howzer figure. And this, I have to say, is one of my favorites that I've been able to put together here, and I'm excited to share with you how to put together one of these for yourself. As a refresher, or for the uninitiated, Captain Howzer made his debut in the first season of the Bad Batch series, as one of the clones who starts to question the new empire that's taken over. Hauser, of course, sports the super cool haircut, he's got the cool color scheme, and I was drawn to the character because this is one of the first times that we see clones starting to question their loyalty following Order 66. On top of that, the basic design here is pretty simplistic, so in putting together your own custom figure for Hauser, there aren't too many crazy techniques that we need to put into practice. So for the basics, my Hauser consists of three key elements. You've got the Clone Trooper body, you've got that custom 3D printed pauldron, and you have a painted up head sculpt. The head sculpt here is done courtesy of Fett Clone on Instagram. I'm sure many are familiar with him and the incredible work that he does. And this was something that I commissioned from him several months back, and that he actually delivered to me relatively recently here is kind of the final coup de grace for putting together this figure. For the pauldron, you can actually find quite a few different 3D print stores that offer these or very similar pauldrons. I opted for the more realistic look here. I know in his pictures and images, it's a lot more of a thinner kind of animated style. I think that really just comes down to personal preference here. And then the body that you see here is actually from a knockoff Clone Trooper body that I bought through AliExpress. This is a storefront that offers, clone troopers and stormtroopers that are knockoff non-Hasbro products, but have a price tag to match that. So I got this one a little bit cheaper. As a call out, when you first get them, the plastic does smell a little bit off. It's a little bit tacky. That kind of had me concerned, but in putting together this project and hitting it with some matte spray over time, it feels much more like a normal Hasbro release figure, albeit with a little bit of some stiffer joints. As far as getting Hauser's unique armor color together, I got that by mixing a little bit of green and a little bit of blue. That's really just some trial and error for you. And he's got a relatively simple pattern, just that straight stripe right down the chest, and then some work on both of the legs. As I went back and did some of the weathering here, I usually use a toothpick to kind of chip off some of the paint to kind of show that worn effect. I definitely, I think, overdid it for this particular project, so that's a lessons learned. I think when it comes to this weathering, more often than not, less is going to equal more. So I definitely recommend playing around with that, a little bit of practice, and you'll start to find a nice feel. For other weathering here, I also used a little bit of a wash coat on things. I picked a nice earth shade, kind of sandy look to match that Ryloth feel. And definitely recommend just doing a light coat over the figure, letting it sit for a couple of seconds, and then patting it dry using either like a paper towel or a tissue. And it kind of leaves that nice weather-beaten, worn effect. Now, if you're not interested or find yourself unable to get a custom, professionally painted head sculpt, there's definitely approaches that you can use using a normal Clone Trooper helmet, as Hauser kind of has that unique style with the two waves going across each side. That's definitely something that you can give a shot just using your own hand and a little bit of paint work. I'm also pulling up on the screen now, there are definitely some great decals available from an awesome storefront here by GI Trooper Kits. These are like for many, like airplane or military-based models, they have these water-based, soluble decals that you put in warm water and then affix to a surface and let it dry. You can find all kinds of easy tutorials for how to do this online. I myself actually have a couple of these decal kits for other customs that I'm looking to put together that are on the way right now. But for those who are looking to skip some of the paint work and kind of get that nice weather-beaten look already incorporated in, I definitely recommend checking things out here. So that's kind of the basics and the breakdown for a Hauser figure here. Not so much a step-by-step as I think when you're getting into this hobby, half the fun and where the real learning comes from is just kind of taking the techniques and playing around with them, making sure to, thin your paints, use multiple thin coats there, but then really just trying to play around with things, to find and to make what you feel is your own personal take on these figures, as that's where I feel a lot of the creativity comes from. Not so much in making what is the 100% screen accurate version of something, but something that you spend a couple of hours on, that you have fun putting some effort and some unique style into, and something that at the end of the day that you can kind of proudly display on your shelf as not just something that you bought, but something that you made with your own two hands. So let me know what you think of this Hauser project here. If this is something that you're interested in, or if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to drop them down in the comments below.